All right. I'm back. Okay. All right. Awesome. Okay. So here we go. So, did you know that 70% of the generational wealth that is received is lost by the second generation? Don't let your family become a part of that statistic. Okay. Right now, we are at the beginning of a generational wealth transfer that is set to outpace the previous transfers substantially. Okay. So the baby boomers are starting the transfer of wealth to Gen X and millennials. And if you are on the receiving end of this transfer, then let me ask you this: are you prepared to take this wealth and multiply it so that it can continue to take care of future generations to come? Okay. And so in this video, I'm going to discuss three things that you need to do to prepare for this wealth transfer. Okay. So I want you to grab your notebook and a piece of paper or a piece of paper and something to write with so that you can take notes. This is very, very important and very key to you and your future wealth. Okay. And your wealth. All right. And so, real quick, if you are new to me or to the channel, my name is Katrice, and I am a licensed health and life insurance broker and paralegal. And I educate women entrepreneurs on how to grow, protect, and secure their finances and build a financial legacy that they can be proud of. All right. And so, let's go ahead and let's jump into it. Okay. All right. So, first things first, let's talk about what exactly is the generational wealth transfer. Okay. And so, simply put, it is the process of passing your assets, properties, and investments down to your heirs, to the next generation. Okay. But it's more than just you passing down your money or your assets. It's about preserving and growing the wealth that you have worked so hard for, right? And so the boomers are the ones that are passing down the wealth. And you know how, everything was just so hard. Let them tell it. Like my dad, my dad's from the Caribbean, right? But he's a boomer and he's gone now, but he used to always talk about how hard it was, and y'all just got it so easy, it was just so hard, and we had to do this and we had to do that. And even some stuff my mom used to say, she gone too, but even some of the stuff my mom used to say, and I just be like, okay, y'all just exaggerating, right? They just be exaggerating, but like they really did, work for their things, and they want to pass it down, to their children. And so generational wealth, in order to preserve it, it really does involve strategic planning to ensure that the wealth survives multiple generations. Okay. And so your parents are now passing it down to you. And so how are you going to preserve that? How are you going to make sure that you have done what you need to do so that that wealth can continue to circulate through the generations? Okay. But here's the thing: assets, properties, and investments are only one part of generational wealth. And that's the part of generational wealth that everybody thinks of. But there's another part to generational wealth that is invisible, but it shows in how you handle the wealth that you receive. And that is the generational beliefs that have been shared from generation to generation regarding finances. Okay. This is the part that is not talked about. Okay. Enough. It's talked about, but just not enough. Okay. Because everybody wants to create generational wealth, but if you don't have the mindset, if you don't have the beliefs to support creating generational wealth, you're not going to create generational wealth. It is what it is, right? You must be very conscious of your thoughts and feelings about money. And if you aren't aware of the beliefs that you hold regarding money, you may just find yourself in the 70% of families that lose their wealth by the second generation. And you really don't want to do that, especially as if you are watching this and you are an entrepreneur, or you are thinking about becoming an entrepreneur, you really need to work on your beliefs you have around money, because they won't stop you from they may not stop you from starting a business and being successful. But if your beliefs are only at a certain level, it can stunt your growth in the growth of your business. And so what you think about money, how you feel about money, is very, very key and very, very important when it regarding your finances. Okay. All right. So now before I get to this, another thing, generational curses. Okay. That's something that I'm not going to say I don't believe in generational curses, but what I really think generational curses are they're nothing more than negative beliefs that have been passed down and nobody decided to change the belief. So for example, if you say, no, I can even use a personal example. So for example, I remember when I was little, my daddy used to always say, money is hard to make. Oh, money is hard to come by, and it's easy to let go of. It is so hard to come by. You got to really hold on to your money, and it's hard to make money. Those were his truths around money, and he said it all the time. And I was a dad's girl, and so I was around my daddy all the time. And even though I was around him and I may not have said anything or asked him any questions about why he was saying that. I kept hearing it. And so then I had took it on as my truth. And I had to do the work around, why do I believe that? Right. And then I had to rewrite that and say, no, it's not hard. It's actually easy, right? And so you have to examine the thoughts. Where do you get your money thoughts from? Because if you can see a pattern in your family's lineage, within your family, of when it comes to your finances, if you can see a pattern and it's not a good pattern, then you need to examine that and say, because I was like, that stops here. That stops with me. No, that's a negative. And so you have to do that same thing. I truly believe that generational curses are really just negative beliefs that have been passed down and nobody decided to change those beliefs. Okay. All right. So now when you look at a wealthy family, famous wealthy families, right? One of the reasons why they continue to be wealthy, well, there's two reasons why they continue to be wealthy for generations and generations to come, right? Is that one, each generation will invest the money or do grow the money, and they'll grow the wealth that they received from the previous generation in order to continue taking care of future generations. Okay, so they're always growing the money, right? And then the second thing is the mindset that they have around money. It's one of growth and abundance, right? And so not only do they in the physical do what they need to do to grow the money, take the actions to grow the money, but they have the mindset and they continuously teach that mindset to the next generation. Okay. All right. So let's quickly look at a few common mistakes that families can make when that jeopardize their wealth. Okay. Um, Now the one thing is lack of planning. Okay. There's no clear strategy for wealth distribution. Okay. And so this is where estate planning is absolutely key. I have a whole playlist on estate planning. I will put it in the description here. I think I'll make a card too. What's this? 1052. Okay. I remember that. 10. I'm going to write that down because I ain't going to remember it. I'm not going to remember it. 1052. Okay. I'm going to put a card there. Go and look at that estate planning playlist. Okay. Estate planning is key. You do not want to go through probate. Trust me, you do not want to go through probate. Okay. Estate planning is very key. I was on a call on a training. I was doing a live training, and we were talking about. I don't know how we got on the subject of estate planning, but um, there was at least like 10 to 15 women. There was a bunch of entrepreneur women that did not even know what estate planning was. Okay. And so that was very alarming to me. So go look at that estate planning playlist. Now the next mistake that common mistake that is made is poor communication. So family, one generation are not knowing what's going on with the next generation, not discussing your financial plans and expectations openly, so that you know, like, I remember like at like 15 or so, like she my mom was like, had already wrote out her obituary and my dad's obituary. She had everything like planned out. So it's like when she passed, like I wasn't worried about like the obituary or the funeral, setting up the funeral or anything. Like she had it all laid out exactly what needed to be done for both her and my dad. That made that so super easy. Like she was just like really meticulous like that. Like I really miss her. I miss both of them. But like I thank God that she did that with me, because then I knew what to do, right, when the time came, right. And so I think it's very important. One of the big mistakes that families make is not having that communication and not knowing what you want or what's going on, right. And then the last one is neglecting education. And so failing to educate heirs on how to grow and manage their inherited wealth, right? And so that is what I am doing in this live tonight, because this is something that is happening. And, the wealth is just being squandered when, if you just educate, just a little bit of education can actually make a really, really huge difference. Okay. So let's get into the actionable steps. Okay. All right. So the really big one, the first one is the mindset. And I talked about that already earlier. But the mindset is really, really key around managing your inherited wealth, right? Because if you just believe that the money is going to disappear, or you don't put any action into, if you don't have the mindset to tell you to put action into, to invest the money, to grow the money, it's just going to be gone, right? All right. So the first thing is family communication. You need to make sure that you know where the insurance policies are. Who's the beneficiaries on the insurance policies. Like these are the types of things that need to be, getting talked about, right? Because I'm a millennial. So if my parents were still here, they would have been, my mom would have been 71, my dad would have been 78. And so, you know, now I would have been having these conversations with them. And so now you have to have that communication, so that you know how to get that stuff transferred over. Okay. Um, the next thing is to invest in financial education for your heirs, right? So every time you get on one of my live streams or you watch my videos, you are investing in financial education, but not just my content. Also, there are other great content creators on YouTube that in the financial uh, education space. Also, just researching online, doing your own research online as well, working with professionals, right? But as you are investing and learning in that education, you also are wanting to, in turn, teach that same education to the next generation. And that is how you keep that going, because as you learn about it, you teach your children, and then your children will teach their children, and so forth and so forth. Okay, so you have to keep that financial education going. Okay, now on the 15th of this month, on the 15th of May, I am having a free masterclass. Okay. A free masterclass. And in this masterclass, I'm going to be explaining why having a tax free account can grow your wealth exponentially. Okay. So, you definitely, if you are looking to grow your wealth, or if you know that you are, going to be receiving, some money, say from your parents, when your parents, transition on, then you definitely want to be on this masterclass, because you want to know. Mhm. Okay, you really want to know about tax-free accounts, because they are an absolute game changer. And so, the link, you can go to my link tree to register. Okay, it's in the description of the video and on the channel homepage. Okay. All right. And so then the next one is the asset protection. Okay. And so, when you get on the masterclass, you're going to learn why having a tax free account really does protect your money. Okay. Um, but you want to utilize insurance and different legal structures to protect your assets from potential creditors and unexpected liabilities. Okay. And so, you know, even when you get the money, once you have it, you got to know what to do with it to protect it. Not just to grow it, but also to protect it. Okay. And so, those are three things that you need to really start getting into now, because we are really starting this wealth transfer. And so you need to prepare yourself for to receive the wealth. Okay. Um, Now, just a bonus. Now, when you are ready to protect your assets, you want to make sure that you work with professionals that can help you, like estate planners, insurance agents, tax specialists, so that they can help you to develop a tailored strategy. You don't want to try to do this alone. You really want to work with professionals who can help you. And when I say do this alone, I'm mostly talking about the estate planning. You definitely want to work with somebody who understands what they are doing. Okay. So, one of the greatest gifts that you can give your heirs isn't just financial assets, it is knowledge. And that is what I really wanted to convey in this live tonight, is that it's great to want to give our kids that generational wealth, the tangible, but you also have to give them the mindset to go with it in order for them to be able to manage it and to transfer it to their children, right? But if you don't have that, if you don't have it, you can't give it to your kids. And so it's important that you get your mind right and together so that you can receive, so that then you can and then pass it on to your children. Okay. All right. So if you have made it this far, thank you so much for watching. My goal is always to provide practical, actionable financial advice to help you take control of your future. And so if you would like to book a consultation with me to discuss your insurance or retirement needs, you can do so in the link of this description. Now, if this video, if this live did help you, please do give it a thumbs up and share it out with someone who may need this info as well. And if you want to subscribe, go ahead and subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. Okay. Now, drop a comment below in the comments and let me know what are your thoughts about this great wealth transfer. What do you well, I'll just leave it there. What are your thoughts? Okay. Did you know that we were in the midst of a wealth transfer? Okay. Let me know. All right. And so that's what I have. And so until next time, remember, the way to secure your financial future is to protect it now, because nobody's coming to save you. All right. Have a good one.